All right. So, welcome back to Odd Talks, guys. I'm Casey, and today we're talking about black gamer girls and a content creator named Gothix. I think the last time I talked about SBI and everything going on with that was like 3 episodes ago. It's been like a week. And basically, what you missed was Kotaku went under. The editor, not the editor, the owner said, "You're done with politics. You're going to write about games. Game journalists write about games." I guess their lead editor decided they'd rather quit than actually have to do their job. Because nothing's more horrifying than actually having to do your own job. Kotaku backtracked. The owner backtracked. Mercante announced that she would be continuing to do news and set herself up for some hit pieces on popular creators, Asmongold and Melanie Mack. Weird thing to do, to pretend Kotaku is popular or powerful enough to topple either of those two is absolutely wild. But I guess the whole website is full of narcissists because they actually tried. Melanie Mack handled it pretty well, simply saying, "I'm not talking to you because I think you're a bad actor. You're doing this in bad faith. This is going to be a hatchet job." To which Mercante, I think, said she was going back to being a cam girl. Or maybe she tried to roast her. I don't know. The Twitter drama between Mercante and literally everyone is incoherent and hard to follow. Anyway, that pretty much catches you up. The rest we can go over through the entirety of the article. But there's a lot to cover. And then I wanted to show you guys a trailer for the Gothix documentary. The only good thing to come out of this whole thing is I discovered who Gothix is. And that's pretty much it. So give me a minute here, and we'll get started. I just got to figure out... Nope, we can get started. That's actually a Roomba named Mo. Okay, so... Forspoken consultant Black Girl Gamers threatens legal action against That Park Place and claims they are committed to diversity and inclusion, including our non-discriminatory hiring practices. Okay, so video game consultancy organization Black Girl Gamers threatened to take legal action against That Park Place following a report that it appears the company discriminates in their hiring practices. Very well. It's actually a pretty good screenshot. I never played Forspoken, but that's a good-looking screenshot. In the article titled "Forspoken Consultant Black Girl Gamers Appears to Discriminate in Their Hiring Practices While Claiming They Are Being Harassed," it was posted that it appeared that the organization was discriminating in their hiring practice based off a post the organization made on X that read, "Looking for black women content creators to make D&D content for some potential brand work. Hit us up." The post was also shared in an article titled "Children's BBC Host Jules Hardy Calls for Final Purge of Gamers After Boycott List Created for Consultants Black Girl Gamers." That was another part you missed. Apparently a BBC host named Jules Hardy said that they should just purge all the gamers. Melanie Mack, being the most popular one to respond up front, roasting her, saying, "Oh, okay, so you just want to get rid of gamers that, can't handle being in a lobby." And Hardy's response was a fancy way of saying, "No, just all the ones that don't agree with me." How very totalitarian of the BBC. Way to go, Miss Hardy. You're really making the cause look good here. I think you could imply that BGG is probably discriminating in its hiring practice, but is anyone surprised? The title of who they want and who they're trying to be is literally the name of the consulting company. I don't know how this came as a shock to anybody, but okay, yeah, let's continue on. Following the publications, BGG took to X to threaten legal action. The organization wrote, "We're addressing the recent allegations published on thatparkplace.com about discriminatory hiring practices within black girl gamers." Again, it's really in the name, but okay. "These claims are false and were made without prior fact-checking or verification from us or our representatives." No shit. No one can be this dense. If I think you've done wrong, you are not the first person I ask. "Hey, did you do bad thing?" No. No, of course I didn't do bad thing. You are the least reliable witness when we're examining you, right? Black Girl Gamers operates as a contracting organization that collaborates with both freelancers and content creators from all backgrounds to work on various projects and initiatives to amplify underrepresented voices in gaming and make the community more inclusive. There's that fucking word again. There's that word again. At face value, absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? That's a pretty solid statement, especially if you're a consulting firm and you really believe in left-leaning equity ideologies. I don't. I think it's all silly nonsense, and I wish they'd all go away. My reaction to Matt Walsh entering the conversation was not, "Oh, thank God, someone from the right." It was, "Please leave." Right? The issue is not that there's not enough right-leaning people in gaming, it's that there's any kind of leaning people in development and journalism for gaming. We wanted your politics out of it. We don't want to invite the other side. We would like you all gone. But anyway, I continue. Next, they wrote, "Contrary to the allegations in the article, Black Girl Gamers has contracted freelancers of all races." I feel like I've already read that part. "We have also included representation of all genders and backgrounds in our content, at our events, and in our marketing, consultation, and research projects, some of which are not publicly disclosed due to NDAs." Again, solid line. I can't talk about it, right? That's if you were going to put up a wall and shield yourself, NDA is how you do it. Hey man, NDA. NDA. I can't tell you who we hired. Not allowed. Here you can see the tweets. The organization then claimed evidence demonstrating our commitment to diversity and inclusion, including our non-discriminatory hiring practices, is readily available and easily searchable. Upon discovering these false and defamatory allegations, we have taken steps to obtain legal counsel and take action against the publication and journalists, as well as the subsequent content creators who have reshared the false allegations about our organization. I'm going to highlight it. There is no legal basis to come at me, to sue me, to do anything legally for me making this video. I don't need to hire a lawyer. I don't. There is no legal basis for saying, "Oh, you can't say mean things about me on YouTube." For starters, no one's really saying mean things about you. We assume you only hire black women. I don't know where I came to that conclusion. Maybe I'm just one of those alt-right trolls and it's a conspiracy theory. But I have this weird feeling that when you hire, you only hire black women. Again, I don't know who put that idea in my head. It's just a thought. There is no legal basis to come after any content creator. This is a scare tactic. This is, stop talking. We have money and lawyers. Well, yeah, but the lawyers still need to be able to operate within the law to prove my wrongdoing, and they can't, can they? So, have fun spending money on that retainer. Anyway, we will continue to pursue further action against anyone who persists in spreading false and defamatory information about Black Girl Gamers, its founder, and its contractors and partners. We value the talent and contributions of all our collaborators, and we are committed to continuing to do so. Thank you to our community for the ongoing support. Okay, so at face value, the company is doing a great job putting the wall up and appearing very neutral and very another day in the office, so to speak. Hey, yeah, no, we do things right, by the book. We have our policies. They're all printed out. We can give them to you in PowerPoint format where we do it normally. Like normal people who wanted to run a normal, profitable business would. Reading their statements, there's no reason to believe that isn't the case. But as we continue to read, you'll find out it's very much so not the case. In the trailer I want to show you, you can see it tabbed up there. It is very much so not the case. So at face value, the Twitter game was definitely solid. We're good people. We employ everyone. I don't know where you got this idea. The fucking name. We don't know where you got this idea. But we do everything right. It's very by the book. It's very title something. Following the publication of this legal threat, former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern dug into Black Girl Gamers, I'm going to stumble over that one, alleged hiring practices that are readily available and easily searchable, and noted that he could not find a published hiring policy on their website. On top of that, he shared that the company's job board section of their website requires a password to access. Hey guys, I do everything right, but you're not allowed to actually see what we're doing, because that might be damning. That would be evidence to the contrary. Okay. Kern wrote on X, BGG goes on to state that evidence of their blah 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 readily available and searchable. Yeah, basically what I said. That's the tweet right there. They said, like, yeah, no, you can totally look at it. We're totally transparent. Except for all the places where we're opaque. Aside from those, we're totally transparent. Kern went on to point out, BGG own website claims to be 100% minority operated. Seems inclusive to me. I've seen minority owned, but what does minority operated mean? It is unclear if they mean 100% of management or 100% of all staff. The 100% minority operated claim, the sealed job board, and the lack of a hiring policy on the website seem to contradict their claims that their hiring practices being readily available and easily searchable. Tripped over that sentence there. Yeah, again, like, no, we're totally transparent. Except for all the things we told you about. That you can't see. But, like, take our word, okay? We're nice. We're the good guys, you know? Take our word for it. Okay, so I'm not saying you look worse and worse as every line scrolls up, but let's keep going. Maybe it gets better. Kern also shared an application form on the company's website to access its community, which it described as an exclusive community of passionate black women and non-binary gamers. I don't know how to explain that being proud of your protective class is fine, but being discriminatory against other protective classes that aren't yours is a crime. But okay, the application form states, do you identify as a woman or non-binary person? By selecting yes, you acknowledge that BGG does not permit self-identifying men to join our private community groups. Non-discriminatory, my ass. This stuff writes itself, almost. Like, really, it does. What is there to say? Hey, we didn't discriminate. By the way, we're openly discriminating. You can't make this shit up. It's unreal. I'm trying, Spawn. I'm looking at my Spawn action figure for courage to say what needs to be said. And I don't actually have to say it because they're saying it themselves. On top of all this, the company's FAQ section of their website, one question asks, can my white husband join? He's black on the inside. The response reads, if you don't leave that man at home. I'm also black on the inside. I also identify as a 12-foot giraffe, which is shorter than most giraffes, but I'm also shorter than most men, so seems pretty on brand for me. Another question regarding the company's consultancy business asks, how can my company benefit from your consultancy service? I am actually so excited to read this part. The response reads, in addition to the consultants on our team, BGG has access to a global community to source any required individuals and provide additional robust insight for our clients. As experienced black women in the gaming industry, we have a global lens that combines DEI and decades of experience in the industry to create inclusive, insightful, and innovative solutions for our clients' needs. Well stated. Well stated. Again, anchoring your identity in your defaults and things you don't choose for yourself and don't earn for yourself is absolutely wild. I think it turns people into the worst kind of vicious narcissist. But, I mean, if you can use that as a selling point, and in today's culture war, it's the number one selling point, hey, go for it. I heard ESG money is pretty damn good, so, hey, don't blame grifters for grifting, okay? Legal analyst Andrew Esquire reacted to the threat, writing, the most insane thing here is that the company in question has likely made statements about other parties that are closer to defamation than those of the news outlet. There is zero chance this hits the actual malice standard. And beyond that, opening up that particular company to discovery may yield some dirty laundry that they do not want to come to light. This is exactly what happened at SBI, too. It wasn't enough for one company to just walk on top of a landmine for everyone else to hunker down and go, okay, let's do what we do, but let's do it quietly. You also wanted to walk on top of a landmine. Remember, this all started because an SBI employee started a harassment campaign. And when it didn't look like it was going to work, they convinced their friends in the media to target gamers. I wouldn't have anything to talk about if that hadn't happened first. And now, what? BGG says, hey, I'm going to sue YouTubers because you posted things we said. Well, now people are looking at you. It wasn't enough for SBI to do it. You had to, maybe you could have done it a little differently, right? What if you hit the landmine with your heel instead of your toe? Is it different? Probably not, but we have to know for sure. When asked about reposting the article by Kern, Esquire answered, just shooting this off the cuff, but I believe a simple retweet without comment is typically not republication, whereas a quote tweet typically would be. Uh-oh, I'm republicizing. I still don't think you have any legal grounds to come after me. And if you do, I'm sure my 2 subscribers will be fucking heartbroken. What do I make of the BGG threatening legal action against that Park Place? I think they'll drop it. I think they'll drop it almost immediately when they have to actually investigate the allegation made by that Park Place. Like, once discovery starts, hey, what are your hiring practices? Who are your staff? What groups are represented? Drop it, kill it. Because now you're about to get sued, right, for discrimination. So I think they are puffing out their chest. They don't actually want to win a lawsuit. They just don't want people to talk about them. And they thought the best way to threaten the community that is now looking at them was to go straight to lawyers' legal action. We'll take all your money. You can't have it. I spent it all on the webcam, so nothing to take. I think they will have to drop it. I think the idea that just being quoted largely is grounds for legal action is asinine. I think that they are discriminatory. I think, in general, they're bad people. Not because of this article. This article is not proof of any wrongdoing. It is certainly very much so implied. They are definitely race-centric ideologues, which I think is terrible for your headspace. I think it turns you into overtly racist narcissists because you're justified. Mo, shut up! I think you suddenly become justified in overt racism. The one I always hear is, oh, we can't be racist. Yes, the fuck you can, and you're about to get sued for it. But I think they'll have to drop it. I don't think this goes anywhere. I think in like a week or two, when I do the next episode on SBI and now BGG and Mercante's new OnlyFans link, um, this will have all blown over already. There's no gas behind this. Ain't got no gas in it. Anyway, on to the trailer. There was a tweet that came out from a content creator named Gothix. She used to work for BGG, and she said that the transparency you're going to get from them is almost zero. They're mean as hell. They will bully you out of the space given the opportunity to do it. And she wasn't just flying off the cuff here. She was speaking as a former employee of BGG. I had no idea this happened. Apparently it happened a long time ago. Gothix has been around for a while. She's a big creator. The only good thing to come out of this is now I know who that is. So I'll narrate part of the trailer after we've watched it once all the way through. I'm not going to watch the documentary on live. I think this story might be important enough for me to decide if you want to watch it, you need to support it in a monetary way. How very capitalist of me. The neo-Maoists are going to go crazy. So this is it. It's the Gothix official trailer.
There is no redemption. There is no conversation. It is whatever we say about you is truth, and you're done.
One friend did it with us. He heard our side of the story, and he was just like, oh, wow, this is completely understandable. I see where you guys are coming from. Then he writes us later on, we weren't the right type of black friend.
Breaks on that for a while.
I don't know how much
out of this
time I
headspace
need
that I'm at right now.
I need to clear my head. I haven't been feeling myself.
I think it's time for me to take a break.
Like, I just feel like I'm kind of floating without any purpose right now.
They brought up my boyfriend. They wanted to know if he was white, because if he was, that would have made sense to them of why I was acting like this. Seeing people automatically say, okay, the reason you have a problem with this is because you're racist is an issue for me. I said, we need to stop doing this. I'm talking in a matter of 24 hours, I became... Over the course of 4 days, I had more racism towards me from other people that looked like me than in my entire existence on this planet. What's the next step once they realize I can't, attack someone on social media and make them disappear? So what do we got to do now? Is physical assault okay?
And I just see like these pools of blood. And I'm like, okay, I'm panicking now.
There is...
So, when she made the tweet claiming that BGG is bullies, they are not an inclusive group, they are largely, I don't know if there's a better word for it than racial ideologues. She was saying it because she was kind of on the wrong side of the mob there. Race has to be a monolith, because if it's not, we have to work at being good people. We have to be proud of things we've accomplished and things we've done, not things that are us by default, which would be a lot of extra work. Isn't it just easier to be good by default by virtue of being born one way or another? Isn't it easier to have an enemy that's easily identifiable because they were born one way or the other? So if you don't treat it as the monolith it is, you could find yourself on the back end of some pretty vicious stuff, which is why earlier on when I said that people who anchor their identity in their race can be some of the most vicious people out there for a lot of reasons. And one of them I just stated is that you are by default good. You are in the Marxist lens, you are the oppressed. The oppressed can't be bad. Oppressed people aren't violent, they're resisting. So there's a way to frame everything you do as virtuous or, I mean, at the bare minimum, necessary. You could even argue that the most horrific acts you did still exist in the gray because, like, yeah, it was bad, but it was resistance. It's different. It's different when I do it. The other part that makes it so incredibly vicious and so incredibly overt is that it's all justified. It's all justified by the ideology. There is nothing you can do. The line for me is very near my feet. And I was raised that way because I was raised by people with common sense. There's shit that does not come out of my mouth because that's way over the line. That's way out of pocket. You don't say that to other people. But the line for those with the virtuous nature, the correct way of thinking, the right opinion, it's way, way, way out there. And there's nothing they could ever do to cross that line. And there's a great example in this trailer. And I just want to show you because I think that really does show you where the heads, the morals, the ideologies of the BGG staff are at. And I think it's important you know, considering they're consultants for your video games now.
There is no redemption. There is no conversation. It is whatever we say about you is truth, and you're done.
One friend did it with us. He heard our side of the story and he was just like, oh wow, this is completely understandable. I see where you guys are coming from. Then he writes us later on, we weren't the right type of black friend.
Breaks on that for a while.
I don't know how much
out of this
time I
headspace
need
that I'm at right now.
I need to clear my head. I haven't been feeling myself.
I think it's time for me to take a break.
Like I just feel like I'm kind of floating without any purpose right now.
They brought up my boyfriend. They wanted to know if he was white because if he was, that would have made sense to them of why I was acting like this. Seeing people automatically say, okay, the reason you have a problem with this is because you're racist is an issue for me. I said, we need to stop doing this. I'm talking in a matter of 24 hours, I became
That bothers me. Probably not for the reason you think. The word does not particularly offend me. I have never called another person that. Ever. Because like I said, I was raised right. There's some shit you don't say to people. It doesn't matter how mad they've made you. You don't say that. Because that's you moving below the low road and into some kind of subterranean maze. Okay, that is beyond low to call another person that. I have heard that. I have heard people call each other that. And I never used to hear it. Until like, I want to say like 2022. Who says it into what people? Again, the line moves so far back for them. They're like, oh, that's different. It's different when I say it to black people. No, it's not. You're still a piece of shit. It's amazing. Amazing how many people I have heard say this in TikTok lives and COD lobbies and stuff like that. Well, we don't need to go to the COD lobbies. The shit that gets said in COD lobbies is irredeemable. When speaking to each other, and it's used as a you disagree with me, you won't make a god out of your skin color, so you're that. Again, the line is so far back for them. There's nothing they can do to cross it, which allows them to be so overtly racist and vicious because it's not mean, it's not cruel, it's not aggression. It's different. I hate fucking hearing that. It's different. Okay, that's different. It's really not. It's a problem. It's a fucking problem. And these are the groups that claim they're doing the righteous thing in consulting for your video game, and then acting out of pocket like this when people don't agree with them. Like, do you want this shit in your video games? I've got roughly 2 minutes left. I think this one may finalize culture war in gaming. I think this one has been far more publicized. Someone had to explain to me all of Gamergate. I don't know what I was doing in 2014, but I wasn't on fucking YouTube. So someone had to explain to me all this stuff because I just wasn't around. This one, so many views, so many eyes on it. And I think the issue was pretty plain the first time. You can have whatever you want. You can. If you want to make a super feminist game, do it. But don't call me an asshole when I don't buy it. I don't want a feminist game. I want Helldivers 2, an Elden Ring DLC. Don't get mad at your market when you narrow your market intentionally and then lose money on a product. I feel like that's marketing 101. If you want to make the most money, you have the broadest market, but you narrow it down to racial and sexual ideologies, and then you call me a bad person for not wanting to play it. I don't. I want to be Elden Lord. Pretty simple, right? They finally run into a community that said, this is where your culture war stops. Like, you can have it on TikTok where it's supposed to be. You can do it in Harvard. You can do it wherever, but not here. It's like having your favorite meme page, right? And then one of the admins, like, finds Jesus during a trip to Cancun. I think it had something to do with a hooker. I don't remember. But, like, he comes back and he starts posting Bible verses in your meme group. Like that. Dude, we're so happy for you. That's cool. Not here. Here's for memes. The space that they're really wedging their foot in the door of, it's a gaming space. It's not culture war space. It's not politics space. I mean, it's an election season. Of course we couldn't get away from it this time. But this really is where your cause comes to die. Because we've said before, we don't want this here. We don't. And then you said, oh, well, that's too bad. I'm going to do it. Don't be surprised when you go bankrupt trying. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, becoming Elden Lord, it's hard work, so I'm going to do that. I'll go ahead and put this trailer in the video description, and I'll see if I can get a line on where you guys can watch it, because that's probably what I'm about to do right after I close this out, and then I'll become Elden Lord. That's it for me, guys. If you do happen by this months and months later, let me know what you think. Maybe it's still